Yeah, they're making it harder to become French.
Moving to France can be a stressful experience enough on your own as it is, but when you have legal questions, who do you turn to? There are immigration lawyers, it turns out. And the timing is good because Daniel Tostado, an immigration lawyer, a French-American immigration lawyer here in Paris, asked me if I'd sit for his podcast and do a little interview. So I thought I'd turn around and ask him some of your questions, which I pulled from Instagram. And thanks to Heather Larnach, today's Patron producer, she didn't ask any questions, but hopefully she was interested in the subject. Thanks to all my patrons.
I actually selfishly don't need to ask you any questions about immigrating.
Then we're done.
Anymore. It's perfect. It's
let's
over.
get coffee.
I'm French. Goodbye. I do have people in my audience that are very interested in moving here, and I selected a few questions to share with you today. We'll see how he does. This is actually a test. Gen 10 wants to know, is there a digital nomad visa in the works?
So, there's actually a long answer to that. Can I hold it?
Please.
Short answer is no, and that this digital nomads get shoehorned into long stay visitor visa, which is good but imperfect solution because there's this open question about Social Security. Now, next week I'm going to the Assemblée Nationale to speak with the deputy, the one that made a law proposal about visitor visa, to tell him that they should make visitor visas be allowed to telework. I want us to shift the policy here in France because people are coming in, they're not taking a French job, and they're contributing to the economy. Win-win. But yes, in short, today, no, there's not currently a digital nomad visa.
And technically, I mean, there are a lot of people that actually do end up working while they're here on their tourist visa. Do you advise against that?
I would distinguish between tourism and visitor visa. So tourism, you're here, it's 90 days. You don't have that much of a footprint here in France. The long-stay visitor visa is where you're moving here to try to get on track for that 10-year card, try to stay here long-term. The consulate and the prefecture have confirmed in writing that they're okay with it. The tax office says they're not okay with it. And it's this tension in the French government. The left hand does not know what the right hand is doing.
That is how France works as a whole, actually. That's a good summary of just life here in general. Yeah. Douglas Cipriano, thank you.
Yeah.
Douglas asks, how hard is it for an EU citizen to open an enterprise in France with their non-citizen significant other?
Doable, and I'd say it's one of the four main ways of moving to France. The visitor visa, student route, coming in via some kind of significant other that is French or European, or worker as an employee or as an entrepreneur. As an employee, pretty hard to pull that off. Yeah. Entrepreneur, very doable. Okay. You have to have a business idea that could have some kind of clientele based in France, sell them on it, and you can come. It is a possibility.
Okay, that's perfect. I actually know some people that have done the entrepreneur visa, and I feel like it's actually easier than the talent visa. Is that true?
Depends. So that entrepreneur liberal profession one is very similar to the talent passport corporate creation. The corporate creation requires a €30,000 investment. So between the two, if they're unmarried, I usually pitch entrepreneur. If they're married, they can sponsor a spouse on the talent passport family. Yeah. So therefore, I usually like the talent passport corporate creation.
All right. See, I mean, if he's speaking quickly and there are a lot of terms in here you don't know, that's okay. You can reach out to him and ask him these questions yourself. He's a lawyer.
I also can't slow down.
It's great.
I talk fast.
I love it. I get called out for being a fast talker all the time, so you're in good company. Don't worry about it. Fad El Jad. Fad asked us a more general one, but an overview. Oh yeah, I've heard rumors that the pathway to French citizenship is changing. Something happened in May this year. What's going on?
Yeah, they're making it harder to become French. I'm okay with a lot of the changes they're making. Basically, they have a tighter definition of what does it mean to become a French person. Okay. For you or for me to make it in France, and we have made it, like what's your level of French?
C1.
You see? You're a stellar contribution to French economy, to the French societal, pool.
I'm adding something.
Now, it had been B1, it's been B1 for years, and I've always kind of thought to myself, that's kind of low, because with B1 you can barely get a good sentence out. They're shifting up to B2. So on the one hand, that's making a tighter definition. On the other hand, if you're not coming from an academic country, like a country where you weren't taught in French, maybe B1 is about as good as you can get. Yeah. Maybe you'd never really sat down in a French class, and B2 might start to get discriminatory. Yeah. So there's a language shift that's going in. How many years you have to work in France? It had been 18 months. Now it's shifting up to 5 years working in France. Okay. So that's putting
it had only been 18 months before?
Yeah, that you could have come in here, been on like visitor, student or something, and then start working on entrepreneur or employee for 2 years, and then halas, you get it. You can file for naturalization.
Got it. So they're basically just the short tracks of like getting your master's or whatever. Those are getting taken away.
Those still exist because those are in the law. It was the Ministry of the Interior that was trying to make some changes.
Why didn't I pay taxes for 5 years before I applied?
Because you have to live here for 5 years.
Fair enough. Okay.
Oui, exactement. Just allongé.
Coffee order.
With regards to retirees, this breaks some of your fans' hearts. They wanted to retire to France and eventually become French. Right. But France is saying, no, you do need to be working in France to become French. It's a Frenchifying experience to work. Yeah. And so some people are saying, but why though? because if you're retiring, you're not working anywhere, and you live here and you might just love France and want to become French. So I unfortunately have to tell them you should probably start working if you want to become French.
That's good to know. Actually, people do ask that all the time, and now I have an answer. No, you can't just retire here. I didn't know what the answer to that was.
I mean, a lot of people love to retire here, and it's great for the wine and the cheese and the French quality of life, and they can follow your restaurant recommendations, what have you, and they can get the tenure card after 5 years of being here. So they're on a good long-term track for something.
Right.
But it's just not being able to vote or get in the good line at the airport.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, there's a good line at the airport.
Yeah,
Okay.
you and Eric are now getting in the good line at the airport.
Yeah. Depending on the day and which airport you're flying into, I'm not getting held on the hook for that one. Iman asked, is there any way to go through a different prefecture than the one where you live? She's currently in the 93.
No, you're not allowed to, and that's sneaky. And as your lawyer, I'm telling you, you cannot do that.
However, if you are applying for your passport or your CNI, you can, and that's a good way of skipping the line. And that's what I did.
Yeah, you're allowed to file for to get your French physical passport and the national ID card at any prefecture or consulate around the globe. The 93 is not half bad. Honestly, I filed for naturalization in the 93. It took me 20 months. Paris is the least worst prefecture. It takes like 18 months on average for Paris.
Yeah, it was about.
And then any banlieue, they might take 4 years. Anything in the south of France.
4 years?
Yeah, Nanterre, l'enfer. It's really hard to get
Holy
naturalized
cow.
in a lot of prefectures.
Wow. Okay, so do either move to the south of France or.
No, don't move to the south of
it's
France.
a flash.
Wait,
Okay.
wait,
We thought
wait.
it was lightning, yeah.
Wait till you get French citizenship and then move to the south of France. That's my hot take.
I mean, I stayed in the exact same spot and changed nothing until I got my citizenship, so I was locked in.
That was smart.
Hard goal. Okay, food copywriter asks, are there any benefits to being a long-term tourist versus immigrating?
The word long-term and tourist kind of seems like a contradiction of terms. Like, you could theoretically do that, some kind of 90-day in, 90-day dance, where you're going to London, where you can also just be a tourist for a certain amount of time, go to Morocco. I don't see the value in that, because it's like you want to have healthcare where you live, right? Like you want to be able to enroll.
You want to live somewhere.
You want to live where you live.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe she just wants to be a digital nomad.
I could see that, and yet at the same time, it's good to have roots planted somewhere. When I was in college, I told a buddy, I just want to live everywhere. And the buddy said, but you got to live somewhere. And that for me, that sunk my teeth into, okay, well, then let's pick a place that I actually want to live.
I
aka
think
Paris.
Buddy was correct, actually. You do want to pick somewhere, but I do understand because I didn't live anywhere for so much of my adult life. And once I landed here, I mean, when I came back, though, this is my third time living in France, second time living in Paris, and I was like, I'm doing everything I can to get citizenship so I don't get knocked out of here no matter what. Thanks. If you want to check out Daniel, you should. He puts out a lot of reels, lots of fun information, and of course, you could always hire him if you're looking for an immigration lawyer. Just saying. Because I'm not helping you. I'm giving zero legal advice. And anything I say does not construe legal advice or financial advice or general life advice either. Just don't take my word for anything.
And everything I say construes legal advice, so I have to be really careful when I talk about digital nomads.
That was good. That's it. That was all I got in mind for that. That was it.